Hey there, Benjamin Harvey here, founder of Authentic Education, and I wanted to share some results with you. Not results that I've got in my life, but some results of a survey that we recently ran around wealth creation. In fact, we sent out a survey to tens of thousands of people, and we questioned them about their methodologies and theories around wealth creation, and also the kind of roadblocks that get in their way when they're wanting to create their own financial freedom formula. And out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of responses that we got back, we found that there was one question that was actually more popular than every other question that was asked. Now, this one question actually forms an incredible psychological limiting belief inside our mind that often prevents people out there in the world moving towards the abundance that they know they deserve and desire in life. Now, this question was asked by people like Brian, if you're watching, Michelle, Grant, Diana, Rhiannon, Chandra, Stephanie, and the list does go on. So if this happened to have been your question, then this is even more relevant. However, you're probably wondering what was the question that was most common that we received in the survey. And it's simply this: how can I begin a journey of wealth creation if I don't have any money? So I want to think about that for a second. How can you begin a journey of wealth creation if you don't have any money? Well, the fact is, the journey is called wealth creation for a reason. It's not called wealth multiplication. If it was called wealth multiplication, then sure, you need money to start with. But wealth creation really is about a journey of creating wealth, quite often from zero. Now, I know you've probably heard the phrase before, self-made millionaire. Now, if you've heard the phrase self-made millionaire, the phrase itself actually stands for people who generated an incredible amount of abundance in the area of finances starting at zero. In fact, my business partner, Cham Tang, and myself both began our journey into business and ultimately into the creation of abundance in all areas of our life with little over $5,000 each to our name. So the fact is, if you don't have any money, then that's probably the best reason to begin a wealth creation journey. And it's probably the best starting point as well. Now, when it comes to building wealth, it's important to know that there are actually 5 different asset classes that you need to become aware of. And you might want to write these down somewhere if you've got a pen and paper handy, because these are kind of the 5 core asset classes that most people tend to create wealth within. Now, the very first asset class is that of education. Now, you've definitely heard of education before, no doubt. However, very rarely do people understand that it's actually a class in which you can develop wealth, in an actual asset class. Now, education is generally broken down into 3 core types of asset classes. One is mindset, where you're working on the imprint that you have around your finances and learning how to get yourself through your emotional or psychological blocks. You can actually go out there and build real wealth in all areas of your life. The next one is that of skills, actually developing hardened skills, the skills of actually doing the things that you need to do in order to get the results you're looking for. And the last type of education is that of strategy, as in how do you put the mindset and the skills together to formulate plans and complete roadmaps that allow you to accelerate where you want to be. So when you're looking at places to park your money, education certainly is one of those asset classes that allows you to not only get a return if you apply the education, but it's also a great place to look for a large and sizable return, because it's one of the few asset classes that provides astronomical return on investment, or ROI. In fact, there are only really 2 asset classes that I'm aware of that really give you an astronomical return, and education is one of them. Because if you think about it, you can park, say, whatever, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in an education program. You can apply what you learn in that program and get back tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars from what you learned. So that's the very first asset class, education. It's something that you might want to think about, because not everyone classes education as an asset class for wealth creation. The second one is what we call fixed interest. Now, fixed interest is a type of asset class that has a very low risk threshold. It is quite liquid, which means you can access it very quickly in little to no time. However, the return on investment in that asset class is quite a small amount. In fact, I think globally right now, the return on fixed interest as an asset class is around about 2.1%. So if you put $10 into a fixed interest account, a year later, you'll have an additional 21 cents off the back end of that. So it's not really the ultimate asset class that you're looking for to park your money into. However, it is still something to be aware of. Now, when it comes to fixed interest, there are different categories of it. One of it is cash, so you can actually look for these high interest savings accounts with your bank accounts. It is a bank account. Term deposits, where you lock up your money for a certain period of time and therefore get a slightly higher interest rate. Or even bonds is another form of a fixed interest asset class. Now, it's not the most exciting of asset classes, but it is an asset class nonetheless that allows you to begin to build wealth in a certain area of your life. Now, the next asset class out of the 5 is known as shares or stocks, depending on where you grow up or what sort of place in the world you live. They're either called shares or stocks. Now, they come in a variety of different kinds of classes within that. And you can buy and hold shares, which is something that Warren Buffett is a large fan of, where you just buy a share and you sit on it and you let that thing compound over time and hope that the share you've bought is in a business that is sustainable and it's growing and it's stable and it's doing what it's meant to be doing. Then that can in fact return money for sure. The next one is what we call indexed funds. An index fund is, again, one of the things that Warren Buffett absolutely loves. It's where you get a group of stocks that are indexed, and therefore you invest in a share that actually has, the results from a whole range of different shares within that. And then the last one is trading, as in day trading, weekly trading, monthly trading, or just trading shares and stocks in general, where you're wanting to build wealth through the buying and selling of shares consistently. Now, that is asset class number 3. Now, the fourth one that you want to look at is property. And I'm sure you've probably heard of property before. And property comes again within certain subdivisions. You've got the buy and hold again, where you buy a property and you sit on that property and you allow that thing to grow in capital over time, while you're also getting the rental returns and the dividends from that, or the yield. Another one is to renovate properties. You buy property and you do the property up, you add value to it. I know a lot of people love this renovation idea of renovating properties, but keep in mind, if you're going into the renovation space of wealth creation, you do need to have some idea of building and actually putting things together. You want a little bit of experience around the areas of building and project management if you're going to use renovations as a strategy around that. And another one is property development, where you are actually looking and buying multiple properties and then offloading those to a developer who can actually turn those into apartment blocks or whatever it is from there. So that's asset class number 4. And the 5th asset class is actually one of my favorite asset classes, and that's business. And I'm sure you've heard of business before, but this is one of the rare asset classes where you actually have both people and fixed assets building wealth for you inside the business. And business comes in a variety of different categories. You've got lifestyle businesses where you work to create a lifestyle so you can travel the world and do what you love. And you've got owner-operated businesses where you're hands-on working inside that thing day in, day out. Or you've got asset-based businesses where you're not really required to be in the business at all, and it just continues to grow without you being there in any way, shape or form. So they are in fact the 5 core asset classes that people often utilize to begin their wealth creation journey in there. Now, hands down, the fastest available on planet Earth out of those 5 would have to be education, shares, and business. Business and education provide astronomical returns because, like with education, with business, you might go and get $5,000 and park that into a marketing campaign, for example. And that marketing campaign can then return you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 potentially. So that is an astronomical style return that you get on your investment of what we call sweat equity, where you put a little bit of elbow grease, but you also put in a whole bunch of information and knowledge as well. So the 3, as I said, that are the fastest is education, shares, and business. So I hope this has been valuable. I hope this has been informative. Please do share this video with your friends. Until then, share your light, live your love, and do whatever it takes to be your own best friend. I'll see you soon.